Welcome to the One Mindful Minute, your very oasis of daily well-being in the busy world. You may already know you have the power to transform your world, but have you fully tapped into it? In this podcast, I'll share how to unlock the power to enhance your life through the art of living well. With insightful interviews and guided practices, we'll uncover the secrets to inner calm and wellness. It is time to tune in and transform.
Welcome back to this episode. And in this episode, I'd like to welcome my new bestie. Since I enter into this period of my life, when you get a little bit older, your hormonal change, and Marie become my new bestie for that reason. So welcome, Marie, and I'll let you tell the listener a little bit of what you do by start with your skill sets, your skill set titles.
Oh, thank you, Fawn. Thank you so much for inviting me. Yes, I am a functional medicine practitioner and a nutritional therapist, and I empower women aged 40 and above to thrive through their menopause. So I guide them from feeling fatigue, mood issues and stubborn weight to radiance, vitality and joy, so that they can be their very best selves and look amazing in midlife.
That's why you have to be my new bestie. So what ignited you to start this journey and become a nutritionist?
Okay, well, this started a couple of decades ago now, actually probably about 25 years ago, maybe 30 years ago. I was actually completely the opposite to what I am now. So I knew nothing about nutrition. In fact, I would call myself a bit of a junk food addict. I had takeouts all the time. I ate rubbish. I was addicted to soft drinks and things like that. I didn't eat vegetables. I couldn't cook. And I was really quite unwell because of it. And because I was unwell, I was on many, many medications. Unfortunately, I was overprescribed one of my medications, which suppressed my immune system. And then I got very, very unwell because I had systemic yeast infections all over my body. My skin broke out all over my body. I had UTIs, sinus issues, all sorts of things. And I had chronic fatigue and was very, very tired. So, I was like that for 10 years because I was very stubborn. I didn't think that anything could help me apart from my doctor. But eventually I became so tired of it that I had to reach out for something new. Okay. And I reached out to a local nutritionist at the time. There was no internet at the time. So this was back in the days of yellow pages. You won't remember, Fawn.
Oh, yes. I do.
And with her help, I was astounded by the power of nutrition and how it could get me well again. And I became well. And since then, of course, I wanted to shout it from the rooftops. I wanted to tell everybody about, this new way of healing and using food as medicine. So that's where I started my journey. And then I trained at the University of West London, got my degree. And then I got my functional medicine qualification as a postgraduate qualification after that. And when I sailed through my own menopause, because I prepared for it way in advance, when I was sort of age 35, I was preparing for it, making sure that I had everything, the right diet and everything. And I happily sailed through my menopause. I wanted to help other women who were suffering because there were so many of my friends and people around me suffering. And I wanted to put that right.
Yeah. So now, can you share a little bit, because some women may not even aware of, right? You mentioned in your 30s even that you're starting to experience that. And I didn't know until I talked to you that the symptoms can start in certain age. So I'll have you talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, at age 35, hormones begin to change. And that's when some women can start to struggle, but they don't necessarily connect the dots that it's hormonal changes happening. Okay. So between the ages of 35 and 50, our two hormones, one is estrogen and one is progesterone, the main sex hormones. Progesterone depletes by about 75%, but estrogen only 35%, okay, between ages 35 and 50. So straight away, we start becoming something called estrogen dominant, and that's when symptoms can set in. And those symptoms aren't particularly pleasant, so, heavy periods, pain, mood issues, skin issues, weight gain around the middle and things like that. So yes, the earlier you start, the better. And certainly most women, become perimenopausal around about age 42 to 45. So, that is the time really to dial in your diet and lifestyle so that you can breeze through menopause without too many issues.
Yes, that's what we are aiming for, right? So now how do you help us women to balance our hormones by using diets and lifestyle change?
Okay. I mean, when we experience symptoms, that just gives us a clue that there is something going on within, deep down into the root causes. So in functional medicine, we look at the root causes of everything. And the root causes of hormonal symptoms are very similar to the root causes of most health struggles and, symptoms of disease, as an example. I know it's not a disease, but the root causes are similar in that it is chronic inflammation that drives our symptoms. And so if we dive in and we address the chronic inflammation, which can come about through faulty diet and a faulty lifestyle, then, we set ourselves up for winning through menopause and thriving. So that's what I do. I help my clients. I address what's causing the inflammation in their body, and it's usually stressors. Now, these stressors are not just mental and emotional, as you might think. These stresses can come from within our body as well. There can be chemical stress, biochemical stress, blood sugar imbalances. We can have poor gut health. So there's a lot of inflammation coming from the gut, maybe. We may have like heavy metal toxicity, or, we could be carrying around a large toxic burden. So, I always give the analogy of a bucket. We're all born with a bucket, and we always putting things into that bucket as we progress through life. Now, if your bucket is ready to overflow, at that tipping point is when you're going to experience all these symptoms. And so what I do is I come along and help you empty your bucket, proverbially, and to make people feel better. So yeah, it works very, very well.
Well, that's really hopeful for some of us who are suffering with the symptoms that you just mentioned about, like weight gain, moody, and I'm sure a lot of people are probably already aware of how stress can affect the hormone. And you have mentioned stress is one of them too, right? That has the effect on the hormones. Now, how does your service or this area of balancing the hormone make a positive impact on the individual? Of course, they're going to heal, but can you go a little bit more details so people who are not actually aware of this can maybe have a little knock on the door so they take action on their wellness?
Sure. When we are this chronically inflamed that I just talked about, when we're like that, okay, then we are in fight flight all the time. And when we're in fight flight, the body cannot heal, the body cannot balance itself, the body can't detoxify, and you can't be well. So what I do is I help women to switch from being in fight flight mode to parasympathetic dominance, which is rest and digest. Okay, when you're in rest and digest, the body will balance, the body will heal. So I identify what are those things that are keeping a woman in sympathetic dominance, in stress, in inflammation, okay, in fight flight. So we address that and slowly but surely switch her over to an anti-inflammatory rest digest mode. And then miraculously, symptoms begin to improve. So whatever symptoms you might be having begin to improve, because that's your body's default mode, where your body can repair and heal and be balanced.
Beautiful. And okay, so this is not just diet, because obviously it's become a lifestyle now, right? Because diet is a part of the lifestyle, but rest and de-stress, it's just in a different category, a little bit different zone. Same category, but just different corner, right? Left corner, right corner.
Well, if you were anything like I used to be in my, back in my younger years, where I was eating the processed food and sugar and, takeouts all the time and things like that, you will be in fight flight. Your body will be experiencing a stress. Okay. So by changing that diet and bringing in a more anti-inflammatory diet, then you are helping yourself switching into that parasympathetic that way through the diet, but also lifestyle. So if we give our bodies what it needs to heal and the right circumstances, then the body will heal. And the right circumstances will be the lifestyle factors that, with unloading all those stresses that we're experiencing. Because let's face it, where most of us are in stress, in fight flight, quite often, aren't we? We're running away from that, saber-toothed tiger that doesn't exist. We wake up, we're having arguments with our kids and maybe our spouse or whatever. We go to work, we're stuck in traffic, the stress is building and building. We get to work, our boss is, not happy with us for some reason. That's more stress. So we are literally living in that fight flight continuously, which doesn't help us, unfortunately.
No. Yeah. Well, now the tigers are in the concrete jungle, sometimes on the freeway and sometimes on your Zoom call, sometimes in your house, living in the same bed.
He's everywhere, that tiger. Yeah.
Yes. So yes, times have changed. And plus nowadays we have big companies who make processed food, because that's the way we can, how fast can we eat, right? Because how fast can we get rid of this hunger so we can move on and go back to what we were doing, because we are so busy. And how fast can people prepare food for us, right? If we were to go pick up some food, so we go to fast food, and because it's fast food, right?
Well, absolutely. That's right. And we want instant gratification, don't we? We want something instantly. And that's our culture, unfortunately. But at the same time, when we eat too much of that food, and, I'm not preaching here, because I still eat that occasionally. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? Occasionally when you go out and what have you. But when you're existing on it all the time, then that really becomes a poison for your body, because it's very inflammatory. And then it's driving that fight flight within your body, because the body is screaming out, no, I don't want this really. And unfortunately, it doesn't help us with our symptoms, whatever those symptoms might be. So, yeah.
Right. So now your skin is glowing, and you always have this glowing skin every time I hop on a call with you. And you have to share with us your daily routine, your little secrets.
Okay, my secret is nothing that I put on my skin is anything flash or wonderful. I use very natural products that don't have hormones, because unfortunately, most skincare products have hormones and things like that hidden in the ingredients, although they're not named because there's tiny little amounts. But when you're using them every day, then that influences your own hormonal imbalances. So they're known as xenoestrogens, and they're very bad. So I don't use any of that. I use very natural skincare products. But I think for skin health, everything comes from within. Again, if your body is, fairly free of toxins, then you are going to glow. Your skin is the reflection of what's going on inside. And yeah, I'm lucky enough that, now that I'm 58, but my skin, I feel like it's sagging and stuff like that because
Oh my gosh, you look amazing. If you didn't share your number, I would never guess that. And I never asked you this, I never asked you this question before of, hey, how old are you? But I always see that your skin is always glowing and so plump, looks so well hydrated too. And I know you don't have a lot of makeup on, and every time I talk to you, you never had makeup on, right? And
I don't have too much now. I have a little bit. I need a little bit now, Fawn, but I have a lot of clients who have skin issues, and the trouble is when you get into menopause, the skin starts sagging as well because you are losing progesterone, which is the hormone for beauty, and plump skin, and collagen starts declining and things like that.
Yeah.
But if you're sticking to a healthy diet, you're giving yourself more help there with your skin health for sure.
Okay, what do you eat? What is your go-to?
Okay. I have something called a gut loving smoothie every morning, okay? And that comes about because I look at the research, and the American Gut Project, who you might have heard of, they say that to keep your microbiome in your gut healthy, to combine as many plant foods into one smoothie as possible. So I put all sorts of things in there, all sorts of things, nuts and seeds and, leaves and a little bit of fruit, berries, all sorts of things. And then I whiz it up and drink it. Doesn't taste very nice necessarily. And my husband complains and he hates it, but his skin is pretty good as well. So
I can imagine living with you and not have good skin. I would not believe that. So smoothie now, because a lot of times we buy frozen veggies or frozen fruits to make our smoothie because we want our smoothie cold, right? So
yes.
Does that matter?
I use frozen fruit. I use frozen berries, but that doesn't matter. No, because that, adds to the coldness. You can put ice cubes in there to make it more palatable and make it cold. But all my stuff comes out of the fridge anyway. So, it goes from the fridge into the smoothie maker, whiz it up with a little bit of collagen powder, maybe protein powder as well. And then it makes a sort of satisfying meal for a short time. It doesn't keep my blood sugars balanced for long. I need a bit of high protein breakfast as well. And so I will eat something high protein, for breakfast as well, maybe an hour after the smoothie. And then after that, I do prepare my own food, rather than get prepackaged things, which I do at the weekend because I'm lazy at the weekend. I don't like to cook. So my husband and I, we go out and we enjoy ourselves. But I have this 80-20 rule, 80% good, 20% bad, very, very bad, but bad for me.
I'm sure you can balance it out after the little damage of 18-20%, right?
Yeah.
And what is your night routine?
Okay, I don't always practice what I preach. I mean, we should put away our computers, laptops, and our devices so we don't get that blue light, keeping us awake. I do try. So I have a night routine of I'm very much into manifestation, the law of attraction, the law of assumption, and things like that. So I listen to audiobooks and YouTube presentations on the subject. So I sit down and that's my way of relaxing, Fawn, I might do a little bit of yoga in the evening for 10 minutes, just something very gentle, not too, active. And I go to bed fairly early, certainly by 11 o'clock, because that's when the adrenal glands, which are the glands that actually produce your hormones, once your menopause has set in, you want to rest them as much as possible. And they recharge at between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. So it's a good idea to be in bed by then. But 10 p.m. is just a little bit too early for me. So I'm just relaxing then and go to bed about 11. So that's pretty much my routine, Fawn. Yeah.
Very, very mindful. It's, we're living in the age where technologies is everywhere and in every part of our life. So in order to tap into something you want to listen to, let's say audiobook, you still have to grab onto your phone and press play from there. It's still, it's still
Yeah,
digital, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't catch entirely from your phone, unfortunately. And even when I do meditations in the evening, which I do quite often, again, that's something from the phone. The meditation is on there. It's very, very difficult to pull ourselves away from technology, isn't it? And yeah, not easy.
Totally not easy. And I've seen some articles that talks about how kids and adults nowadays are like addicted to their phones.
Yeah.
Everything they do is on the phone. Like nobody take notes on little using pen and paper anymore. We take notes on our phone because why carry more stuff when you have a phone that can take notes and call someone, listen to something, watch movie, right? It's so convenient to have smartphones, but that comes with a price that we have to pay, especially when we're trying to get a good night rest. And how many hours do you get your night's sleep?
Probably 8. I'm very lucky in that I don't have insomnia and all of those issues. I mean, occasionally that I might get interrupted sleep in the night for whatever reason. If I find that when I go out at the weekend, if I maybe have 1 or 2 drinks, I can't sleep as well. My body is more in fight, flight, cortisol. I have a cortisol problem in the night and then wake up, because that's quite often the reason people wake up in the night. Cortisol rises, and cortisol is obviously the waking hormone, isn't it, for your circadian rhythm? It's the stress hormone as well. So during the week, I sleep like a baby. So I'm very fortunate. But I do take a magnesium supplement as well, which really helps. Really helps.
Yeah, I've been loving magnesium. I take up to 1,000 milligrams a day. I don't know if that's too much.
It's very difficult to tell, Fawn, because most of us are actually deficient in magnesium, but that is a lot. That is a lot.
I feel like someday I have to back off of it a little bit, because I do have like 2 different types of magnesiums that I'm taking. So I can mix them up, because one has a smaller milligram and one has higher milligram. So if I feel like, okay, I feel like today maybe I needed more, then I'll just up my dosage. So you really do have to be in tune with your own body, right? In order to recognize what goes wrong and what is going well for us.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all different at the end of the day. We're all unique. And so we don't have the same biochemistry, but we get to know what our body needs. And when we get symptoms of whatever, then that is our body giving us clues. It's telling us there's something that needs addressing deep down in our body, in our biochemistry. So never ignore symptoms. It can be calling you for something.
Totally. Yeah, and this is why, well, one of the reasons why I want to have you on a podcast to talk about this, because it's definitely a part of our well-being. It's definitely should be incorporated into our everyday life. And now a lot of people that are listening to this may be wondering, how long is your program, or how long do they need to stick to this new healthy routine in order to see the result?
Okay. Well, my programs are of various lengths depending on, on people's budgets. So they can be like one session, or a few sessions for a month, or a 3-month program. But, you'll always get help and hand-holding and support throughout those 3 months, as well as Zoom calls and coaching calls and things like that. How long? It takes 3 months to change your biochemistry. But what I find is when people really, really, nail down and they really stick to what they're meant to be doing, to the program, you can begin to feel better, begin to feel good within 3 weeks, and things start shifting and things start changing. And sometimes it's a matter of like a couple of steps forward, one step back, because that's how the body works. As it detoxifies, from the cells, you can begin to feel a little bit, bad again, a little bit worse for a little while. And then you clear those toxins out and then you feel better again. So it's very much a gradual process, but around about 3 months, I would say, to change your biochemistry. If you really, really dial down and concentrate on what you're doing and really be very kind to yourself and give yourself what your body needs and the circumstances, which means it's not just the diet, but it's also the lifestyle circumstances as well.
And the mindset, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that, brings the body into rest, digest mode, and then you begin to heal and you feel better. And it's wonderful. It's like a miracle, but it works.
Yes. It is like a miracle that you can create for yourself if you take action on this journey.
Absolutely. I mean, we have to be our own advocates at the end of the day. Our body is innately self-healing. If we give it the right raw materials and the right circumstances to heal, then our body will heal. But
Absolutely.
Many of us don't, unfortunately, and myself as well. All those years ago, I didn't know this. And I was poisoning myself with everything. And my attitude was terrible, and so, but we live and learn. And here I am to spread the word, as it were. So
Yes, totally. So now this is totally mindful living, mindful eating, mindful lifestyle. And you mentioned you do meditation. So obviously meditation is a part of this healing and balancing hormones journey as well. Can't abandon the mindfulness practice.
no, that is one of the most important aspects of the whole menopause journey, actually, is the mindfulness, getting your body back into that relaxed state. It works. It really is number one. I would say that mindset is probably number one, because if you have a rubbish mindset and you're eating well, but you're still, you're still not taking care of your mindset, then things might not work quite so well. So mindset, I would put as number one. Diet would be number two. And the rest of the lifestyle factors, maybe number three.
How do you use mindfulness, or how do you incorporate mindfulness into your program or as a part of your program to support women to balance their hormones?
Okay, I always encourage them to do some sort of mindfulness type practice or meditation or yoga or something that allows their body to rest, allows their body to go from that fight flight back into the rest digest mode. So that's all part of the program, and they need to do that in order to get well. And as you know, Fawn, through your own practices, that it really works very, very well.
Life-changing.
Yeah, absolutely life-changing.
I love it so much that I have to dedicate my whole career, my whole life now to spread the words about how powerful mindfulness and meditation can be. And I can't successfully do this all by myself. And that's why you are going to be my bestie from now on. So now, beside your daily routine, is there anything that you can recommend someone who just getting started, or maybe even a seasoned practitioner, or what should we call them, like an experienced, healthy person to incorporate it in a simple 1 or 2 minutes, just to maybe just kind of incorporate that into the day or the hour or just the beginning. Now I'm just talking in circle.
Sure, I know what you're saying, Fawn. I mean, it doesn't take long, does it, Fawn? 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening. It doesn't take long to incorporate that into your life. Even if you don't want to sit there and meditate, you can do meditative type practices like Qigong, or you can do breathing, breath work, or you can just go for a walk in nature in the sunshine, because immediately that brings your body back into rest digest. So you don't have to see it as work. as having to do something like a chore. You just incorporate it into your life and it becomes second nature eventually. Yeah, so it makes it easier. Eventually it becomes part of you.
That's so
And then if
true.
you don't do it, it's like having your arm cut off. You feel it. If you don't do it for a few days, you miss it. And that's what I feel anyway. That's what I find.
It's so true that, I love the example you just gave, because once you start feeling good and you want more of that feeling, so therefore you're gonna search for the time that you could do that. Just like when you were, eating some junk food and it gives you this like feeling of like satisfying for just a moment. And then you want to go back because you want to have that feeling, that satisfaction.
Yeah. So mindfulness can be quite addictive, very much the way food can, but addictive in a nice way. And even if people can't have that, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening is too much, even just a few minutes, like a minute, 60 seconds of just relaxing and just being wherever you are, whether you're in your office or, stuck in traffic or whatever, just to mindfully relax. It can make the whole world of difference to your life. And I certainly encourage people to try it if they've never done it before. Obviously not whilst you're driving as such, but when you're, stuck in traffic or relaxing or waiting for a bus, anything, just incorporate that little bit of mindfulness whenever you can. It will make a whole world of difference to your life.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Marie, for your time coming on. Is there anything else you'd like to leave the listener with before we end our episode together today?
Okay, yeah, just one thing. I just wanted to thank you, first of all, Fon, for inviting me on and giving me this opportunity. If I could leave your listeners with one thing, it would be to empower yourself with your own health, because at the end of the day, this is your body. Don't put it in the hands of other people to fix or whatever, because, there is a sick care industry out there that, you will carry on perhaps being sick or being medicated. And that's not true health. True health is something that you feel wonderful. And that's something to aim for. It's really, really worth it. Definitely.
That is so beautiful and so true. My gosh, I love this. I know I promised you we're not going to go over half an hour, and we just did. So I don't want to hold you hostage on this show, but I would love to have you come back again soon, and maybe we'll cover a different topic. And for the listeners out there, I'd like to invite you to check out Marie's website, and you are very active on LinkedIn and Instagram as well. And you share so many valuable tips on those social medias. So make sure you go check Marie out and contact her. She gives free consultation, right?
Yeah, I do a free wellness consultation for half an hour where we can brainstorm and I can help you take some action steps straight away to feel better very, very quickly.
Yes, please take advantage of her offer, because otherwise you might be missing out something really, really good in your lives. Thank you, Marie.
Thank you so much, Bon. Take care. Bye-bye.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode and inspired to take the next step in your wellness journey to building more resilient and effective days at home and at work. I want to invite you to get in touch with me to learn more about the customized wellness programs that could benefit your team, your organization, whether it be retreats, workshops, 21-day meditation challenge, you name it. Let us collaborate to supercharge your well-being today.